Greetings, travelers, and welcome to another episode of Tales of the Dice Roll. Last we left off, our group had been strewn about the city of Kitus, scrambling to find common ground in its ever-changing streets. Will they be able to find each other? Find out in this tale of pen and paper.
Welcome back to Tales of the Dice Roll. As always, I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Jonas Pelot, and I'm joined by...
Aaron Moore, and I'm playing Shepherd Gray.
I'm Evan Saxton, and I'm playing Archival, Kavil.
I'm Nicholas Reysack, and I'm playing Taruk, Umbaku.
I'm Porter Williams, and I'm playing Meru.
And we have just left off with everybody being ripped through a portal to the lost city of Kitus. You've made it. Our mighty heroes have trekked through the wastes and the night woods and God knows what else, just to be here in the great city. But something is wrong. The city seems poisoned. There's gears missing. The machine's not ticking like it should. As you start to look around, you get this preeminent feeling that it just feels like there's eyes all over you, like you're just being watched.
Is there are we on a portal stand or anything? Did we just get shot through that?
You guys are
Stargate?
standing in one of the many streets of the city of Kitus.
Are we all scattered?
You are all scattered.
Is it like a labyrinth?
Yeah.
I mean, it's as much of a labyrinth as any other city. I mean, imagine if I just dropped you in the middle of New York and said, go. As you turn and the wall in front of you seems to shift and coalesce its machinic parts. As they click together, you see pieces flip and rearrange and dials change as this door of gears ends up in front of you. Little sign pops overhead and it hangs out.
Can I read it?
Yeah, it reads Ye Old Tavern, and the door kind of swings, it sloops into saloon doors, and it kicks itself open as you look deeper in. And you can see inside what looks like any saloon. You see these stools form up out of gears and levers as they pull out into tables and stools, and then on top of it, these automatons almost crawl out of nowhere. These pieces coalesce together to create patrons of the bar. As you look in, it looks like any normal saloon scene, but everything's just made out of pieces of parts and technology.
I'm gonna go talk to the robot bartender.
As you walk in and you get the smell of any tavern that you would have back at home in Sylvain, and a automaton with very elvish features kind of slides across this little thing on the bar, and it's like, hello, how can I help you today, sir?
I'd like a drink and a nice quick talk if you've got the time.
Right, of course. What would you like to drink? We've got Cola. What would you like?
I've never heard of these fancy drinks.
You must be new here, aren't you? Well, they're, I say try them out. What would you like?
I would have this.
All right. And he pulls out this small green can covered in caricatures of mountains, and across the top is W, as you can only assume reads. And and the crack of carbonation.
It yells at me as it opens.
It does. It slides across. Now, how may I help you today?
Well, I want to know, am I in Kitus?
Yes.
I am. All right. I just can't say I remember getting here, you know? I've been on the hunt for so much, but I was just in a desert one moment and I'm here the next. Do you know anything of what's going on?
It just shrugs.
You look like you've been here a while. I mean, you're in the Lost City. I figured you'd know something.
I am merely a creation of this establishment.
Do you know who created you?
Gaitis.
Gaitis?
Yes.
That's a man?
She is our goddess. The goddess is the city is the goddess Kitus.
Oh,
Do you not know of this?
well, I know Kitus was a
Yes.
city. I did not know it was also a god.
Yes, they are one and the same. She is the city is Kitus, the Kitus is the god of technology. That is why we are here.
Well, where is Kitus at? It seems quite quiet here lately.
You see the automaton kind of reel for a second, and it We are on a demi-plane of Kitus' creation.
Well, Yes, I know that we are in Kitus to say.
Yes.
Is there like a heart, I should ask, like a heart of Kitus that I could see? Is there an underbelly of this creation?
I don't know. I'm just merely a creation of Kitus. I'm merely just an appendage of her creation.
Your mom
I've not
keeps you guys
spoken
out
to
of the
the
loop.
creator in a while. It has been tough recently. There's a corruption that runs afoul in Kitus. What it is, I do not know. But Kitus is ailing. Something poisons her.
Something else. I can see. The city's beautiful, but I've noticed there are parts that don't move.
Yes, it's somewhere near the middle that I can think of. It's close. It's just that way. And he kind of points down one of the streets.
Also, you don't have to answer this. This is more for just my curiosity, but when this building isn't here, are you still active while it's moving? Do the patrons still buy? Do you still sell?
None of this is real. This is just merely a fabrication of the city, relying on a need for you. You come from the inner planes, one of the inner planes, I assume. A humanoid. We just merely appear in a form that is most suitable for you. This is what I am known to call a saloon, correct?
You are right indeed.
Yes, it's merely
So you can just take any form that you see fit?
Well, I merely am I personally cannot take any form. It is merely just what Kitus shapes me into, or the city itself shapes me to best align with your vision and interest to better help you. The city is, after all, of course, the most technologically advanced thing in all of the multiverse.
Well, it's quite amazing, actually.
Yes.
I think that's really all I have, but one last thing. Since this place can seem to move however it wants, and I've been separated from my friends here, is there a way that you could help me move throughout to help reconnect, or am I just on my own from there?
Who are your friends?
Well, there's like a really big half man, half beast thing. He's pretty nice, kind of dumb. We got a man who can walk on water, I just learned. That was really cool. Also a very big man, not beast though. Another who has emotional trauma and is not over his wife. I think he is over his daughter though. But those are my friends.
Yes, I'm sure I could reconnect with the system and see what I can find. Shall I?
I mean, it'd be a great help if you could, but if not able, I completely understand.
Of course. And he melds back down into the table surface, and you see different pieces of him scatter off in different directions. And you're kind of just left here at this ever-shifting bar. It's this layer of glass has come up over the bar, and you see the gears working underneath it as they're just constantly turning. They seem to have almost no consequence. It's more of a decorative piece than anything. Shep, we go to you.
All right. What's around me?
The city seems to crawl around you. It's the walls are ever shifting and changing. The cobblestones rotate in fantastical ways. The stars above you rotate in the same clockwork mechanisms. And the city around you looks like a maze. This is like no city you've ever seen before. You're used to being a farmer, the wilds in front of you, but it's paved, it's all built. There's no nature here. This is purely a plane of just a city. It's hard to get your bearing.
Do I see any I don't know, energy point? Like, is it all just like uniform, just like
Roll
machinery?
a perception check.
10 plus 3, 13.
It's really hard to get your bearing, but you can tell that the energy of the city seems to drop off where you can see the horizon, like where the pretty much sky comes down. You can see that the city kind of diminishes as it tapers out, and there's less activity out from kind of what you can see down. It's hard to get a good bearing, but you can see that the closer in towards the city, you see the buildings get taller and they seem to get more complex and intricate as they move towards what you can assume is the middle of the city.
So am I like, do I feel like I'm on the outskirts of everything?
You feel like you're
just kind of like,
you're kind of somewhere in the middle. You're one half dozen the other.
just for funsies, what color is everything? Just like metal?
What's your favorite color? Blue. As you think blue, you see the walls and the gears seem to rotate, and as they flip and turn, they seem to almost paint themselves multicolors of blue. You see mosaics
No, I think it's green. My
come
wife was
across the
green.
wall.
My wife was green.
And as you think of green, this rolling green hills come under these mosaics that line the side of the street now. And they seem to twist and turn themselves in beautiful patterns. And as the thought of green passes out of your head, they flip back to their bronze and gold. But the feeling of being watched has not left you. You constantly feel, no matter, and this goes for you in the bar as well, and for you guys, this feeling of just every time you turn your back, there's always still someone looking at it. Just never seems to let go.
I'm gonna just keep going to the city.
All right.
Yeah.
Just kind of walking. Are you walking towards the center?
Yeah, just wherever you saw, like the buildings kind of get
All
a
right.
little bigger.
Taruk.
What do I see?
Pretty much the same for them. It's the city around you surrounds you. The walls are constant and ever shifting. As you look at them, you see shop fronts pop out and sift away back into the mesh and the inner workings of the city.
Do I see anything notable around?
Whatever you see that seems noticeable seems to shift away once you get a good look at it. But you can see that parts of the city that don't seem to be functioning aren't far off from you. There's a couple parts of the city that are maybe just a couple blocks away that don't seem to twist and turn with the rest of the machinations of the city.
Now, when I go get in closer, does it get taller? Or
It's the same for you. The further you look into the city of where the center might be, is the buildings grow taller and the outskirts behind you.
I'm probably gonna go to the top, go to the higher areas.
Towards the center as well. Meru, what would you like to do?
So I presume the same sort of buildings around me. If there's nothing noticeable on the ground floor, I'm gonna try to get a vantage point on top of one of the buildings.
All right. As you go to kind of scale the wall, as you do, the handholds almost seem to appear as they can sense your motion upwards, and they assist your way up, and it's almost as if you're flying upwards. It's so easy to just climb up. And very quickly, as you rise above the buildings, it's very easy to see that it seems like a cancer is growing from the center of the city. You can see that there's pieces of the city that have been kind of knocked out of commission almost, but you can see tendrils running through the street, some purple veiny tendrils running down each and every corridor and alley, and they wrap into the buildings, and each building that it wraps into no longer works with the flow of the city, and you can see it all originating from the center.
I sort of I see that, I plan on heading towards there. I think I need to sit down and think about this for a moment. As I sort of start leaning back.
As you kind of sit down, a chair pops up behind you as you now have a almost perch atop this building.
The city gives you what you need. I could really use some cool gauntlets right now.
You reach your hands out expectantly, waiting to be wrapped in the cool embrace of metal gauntlets, but nothing ever comes.
Well, I had to try. As I'll start sort of parkouring my way towards the center.
All right, just kind of rooftop to rooftop.
Yeah.
Cool, that's badass. Evan, the bartender magically kind of reassembles himself in front of you and he goes, "I have found a way for you to contact your friends.
Ooh, you have.
Would you like me
Hello?
to?"
Sure, I guess. What is this way of contacting them?
Shall I just show you?
All right.
And he pulls this little chain that has fallen from the roof, and you're from the top of the building. And for you outside, you see this giant red flare pop up over the city. Shepard, you've seen this flare go up in the sky.
Do I feel the looking at me from any particular direction?
It just feels like something's watching you.
Feels like it's in my mind, or
Yes. In your head, you can feel a sense that something knows you're here. It's aware that you're here.
I guess I'm just gonna go.
Towards the flare?
I'm super suspicious and super uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
But
So you're
why else would there be a flare?
heading towards the flare?
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to try to constantly every time I go through past a little
Yeah.
alley or something, just anyone there?
I gotcha. Taruk?
Do I also realize whatever I think of? 'cause,
Yeah, as you think of kind of like a nice field to graze in, and you see a piece of the wall kind of come down, and as it kind of flattens out, these small little, almost, you wouldn't know what they are, but for the audience and visual, these little tractors kind of pop out of the ground, and these little tills pop behind them, and they drag through this dirt, and then this water springs up, and it showers over the grass, or the dirt and grass sprouts from it at this nice, perfect level. You know that as a man who eats grass, you know that grass's flavor is based off its length, and it is at your favorite length right now.
All right. When I see this flare, can I? So how far away am I from this flare? Am I the same level as it?
It's not too far away. Yeah, 5 to 6 blocks from where you are, as best as you can guess.
All right. I shall head there
All right.
on a tractor.
The tractors are too small. They were tiny little tractors. They were this big.
Aw.
Meru?
As I continue sort of hop across rooftops, I'll keep experimenting with what the city can give you. So as I approach one rooftop, I'll say I need a bridge, thinking about getting across the next one.
And the rooftops coalesce into this bridge as you cross over, and they kind of do this drawbridge thing after, and they sink back down into the city.
This might be foolish, but as I get to the next rooftop, I'm gonna jump, and I'm gonna think I need a hole in this wall.
And the building caves in. You didn't really think about what to land on, and you kind of land on this hardwood floor in the upper story of this building.
Feather fall or soul fall.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It caves into this hole, and it looks like it has caved into this, it looks almost like a house, like an attic of a house, as you kind of land on this hardwood floor, and these pointed windows look out across the city.
Yeah. As I'm just testing the limits, I'll think of another hole in the wall.
And there's the window, and a door opens onto a small balcony.
And as I do that, I just get a running jump, and I make it to the next wall, run up there, and continue towards the flare.
All right. The message has been sent, sir.
So what'd that do?
It sent a flare up.
Oh, it sent a flare. How interesting.
Yes.
Now all of China knows you're here.
Everyone knows. All right. Can you sense other living things here too?
No.
I cannot. So
At least, as my present form in front of you, I am limited to this saloon.
So,
When I connect myself with the interweb of the city, I am able to sense what the city can, but at that point I am just the city itself, reassembled where needed. The only reason I reappear to you in this form is because you stay in this saloon. Once this saloon disintegrates back into the web of the city, all of us, this will once again be the city. I am merely just a form presenting to you.
well, that's all I can know. I feel like we will see each other again, but won't. Still really confused. Will you remember me if you're a different thing in a different building?
No.
No? Okay. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. And as you step out, the saloon doors swing shut, and as they finally close, they wipe away back into the web of the city. From where you're at, you kind of look in front of you, and you don't really see anything, and as you turn, you see that one of the city blocks behind you no longer interacts with the web. And you can see that the gears just kind of stop moving, and it's any gears that do connect with that part of the city, you see them just kind of click past as almost a small gap or crack creates around where this chunk of city no longer seems to flow.
I want to go up to one of those broken pieces, and I want to make like an Arcana check to see if there's anything else influencing the magic from Kaitis.
All right.
15 plus 9, 24.
So, you don't really... Understanding how this city works in the first place is an enigma to you. How this all functions is outside of your knowledge. But what you can tell is there's something else that's influencing this part of the city. You can see that the normal golden and copper pipes that you have, this all goes for all of you, there's these pipes that seem to almost run along and around the city, and these pipes that reach this part of the city, they turn from that copper and gold and bright bronze into this kind of sickly purple almost. The metal itself seems to corrupt away, and it turns into this sick, ghastly color as it spreads in the city. It's the part of the city that doesn't work anymore seems almost darker.
And can I like just pick a little gear off the wall from the corrupted area?
As you touch the corrupted area, you get this flash in your mind. You never closed your eyes, but it's as if you were vividly dreaming. As the moment you touch it, you see pain. Whatever the visualization of pain for Archival is, that is what flashes through your mind in an instant. It's gone the next.
That was nice. Touch it again.
All right. Intelligence saving throw.
That's just a jump. That's a 7.
All right.
Oh
You
no.
plant your hand back on there, and you feel something else inside your mind. You feel another presence. You are now no longer alone inside your own mind, and you hear the presence speak to you.
Hello, Archival. I want to harm. I can give you what you want.
Are you Kaitis?
No,
Or are you a scourge?
I merely am her replacement. I will become the city. It all goes on its power. You can help me with that. Serve me, and I shall give you power beyond your imagination.
Serve you as Volomir has?
Olivia is but a pawn compared to you, my mighty knight.
Yes, you send him after us. You send a lowly pawn for you.
Olivia purely only searched for the city to join me. You followed him, from what I can tell.
I was like a mixture, you know.
Volomir purely does what I bid him do.
And why do you bid him?
Because he has brought me the final piece.
Is it that book they had in the keep?
You ask many questions for a man.
This
in
is a
bad
mysterious
bargain.
Well, if you want me to blindly follow you, as I've just
I
met,
do not ask you to blindly follow. I ask you to walk with faith. Trust in me. I can give you what you want.
I don't need faith from anyone but myself for when I need. I will find you wherever you are, tainting this city, and I will delete you from
Be that as it may, silly elf.
And the connection severs, which you will take damage for.
it. I assume this will come.
You will take 5 psychic damage as you feel as the connection severs inside your mind, and your mind once again feels whole and back to purely being your own. It doesn't take long for the 3 of you to coalesce on the flare's position, where you all turn separate street corners, and you see Archival standing at the edge of a corrupted piece of the city.
Yeah, I'll sort of land. It's like, oh, it's good to see you all here.
Nice to meet you, Meru. Shepherd. So we should get down to business.
What did Taruk do?
Did you do anything?
No.
Sewer manhole cover. I want one to appear. Come here now. I want in the sewer. I want to see.
A manhole cover appears in the street that you
Okay.
stand in.
So we all know, and I think we all agree, that we need to move towards this darker side.
Yes.
I don't know how much we're being watched or how much we can hide, but I think it'd be better to at least go underground.
Wait, you guys can just you just say things and it just makes it?
It appears that it can
I
manifest
think all of us can.
a lot of things. if you think.
Atomic bomb.
Sun!
Yes. Unfortunately, it
I
appears.
want a sun to a full fully lit sky to
What the
just
fuck?
light up this whole
You
place.
see the wall next to you appear in this beautiful mosaic depicting a bright, radiant sun and for you guys you wouldn't know, but incandescent bulb tinks on and you ping,
We take 1,000 radiant damage as we are met with the
and the
unmatched
fluorescent lamp
power of the
pops
sun.
on and swings down and it looks over this mosaic. It's not like in your eyes, it's on the
Dear God, take cover, it's burning.
sorry.
it's on the mosaic that now depicts a beautiful scene.
Now, if I just think that just want that to be above us, then the dark place won't be as dark. Big brain.
What if you thought of your daughter? You could do that. All right, let's move into the sewer.
got
Let's go.
As the manhole cover, you pull the manhole cover off, and as you look down, there's not actually a sewer system below you. There's just a
Fuck,
kind of
we've been had.
some pipes that
They
are
got us.
running under the city,
It's a meat grinder as I jump
but
in.
it doesn't actually go down into a sewer system.
Wait, so when I poured this, it made a little ramp. What if we just ramp? And I just want to
Bicycle.
I just want to slide into it, you know.
Pit of fire
I wanna
in front
sit-
of Ram.
I want to sit on my shield like a little sled and just go
You
down a ramp.
plop yourself down on your shield, and a ramp forms up behind your shield, and you slide forward. But before you hit the edge of the ramp pushes itself, and you slide
So I just end
across
up
your
right back to
shield.
where I started.
No, you're like it pushes you
Oh, I see.
forward, like
Okay,
you're
okay.
sliding around,
It
like
gives you
you're-
momentum.
Style.
Yeah.
Now you're just kind of going.
Yeah.
Wait, can we imagine like a moving sidewalk, like a sideways escalator?
As you
You mean like
think of that, it
moving escalators?
pushes you. You feel the
Like at the airport?
Is it like horizontal
clockwork
though?
begin to rotate under your feet as you slide forward.
Well, it seems
This
we're
is
all getting our
awesome.
mode of transportation platforms. As I sort of imagine stairs moving to me to sort of give me some elevation.
You see, they don't come out all the way over the street, but the building is next to you. You see these platforms step out for you to jump upon.
I'm gonna pretend that I have a flying nimbus and just sit on the ground and let that carry me.
You pass by, as the city moves you along, it's a pretty steady pace, but as you pass, you look down, in some alleyways you can see the darkness creeping through different alleyways or down different streets. You see places where the city just stops working. There'll be a couple times where the city's moving you towards a direction to where immediately in front of you will be a broken part of the city, and it will quickly divert you away from it as it zips around it.
Oh, I didn't tell you this also. I talked to the city for a bit. Completely forgot to mention that when you guys got here. It tried to tell me to work for it. Luckily, I said no, guys. Pretty awesome, I know. But it is at the center, and it wants whatever's here. It wants the city itself. So I think the faster we move, the better, because I feel the more it takes, the stronger it will grow. And
Likely.
It was talking pretty lowly of Volodymyr earlier, so I think it might be a little tougher.
Well, it's taking over the entire god city of Kaitis, then.
That is true.
What if this is like, remember that like squid thing we saw earlier? What if this is just that?
I do think it could possibly be illicit.
This seems too.
With all the
good.
purple around the decay.
It's purple for you? I saw blue and a little bit of green.
Well, that was just you doing that. The decay, I mean.
Oh.
Any of the city you can check.
Man, I feel like we've been on this trail for a lot longer.
It's a big city.
Well, you guys didn't really tell the city where the fuck you wanted to go.
Wait,
Oh,
can
can
we
we
go
go
down the alley?
Can we please get directions towards the center?
You guys were like, I want to ride.
I was like,
So
I
the
want to go
city
to
started
darkness.
making you ride around.
I
but you
guess
guys
that
were
is
like,
true.
just
I
be
was just
going,
like, let's go.
It's just kind of been taking you around the city.
Can we get the most direct route towards the center?
It banks you down a little alley, and then you pop out onto another broad street, and it carries you along for another good 5 minutes before you end up in this kind of central plaza area.
I want to
or
leave the city, actually. I'm just kidding.
what was once a central plaza area. The buildings that surround it seem decrepit, old, broken. It doesn't flow with the city, and the whole plaza area is overtaken by these large, thick purple pipes that plunge down deep into the city and spread out from this massive central tank in the middle. And you kind of hit the boundary of this park, and the city stops, and you guys are kind of catapulted almost a couple steps. You guys are able to catch your steps. You aren't like thrown in, but it stops at this boundary of where the corruption begins. And as you look down the street into the central plaza area, you see several hooded figures surrounding this large tank that seems to have been built into the city that the pipes flow out of. You hear in your mind,
the city would obey you any longer.
only Taruk hears that. Shepherd, as you look towards this tank, a vivid flashback appears in your mind. You guys all turn to look at Shepherd, and Shepherd's eyes no longer see you. You are back at your house. It's dinner time. Your wife just made your favorite mutton, seasoned just the way you like it. Your daughter sits excitedly at the table waiting for your wife to bring over the food. It's a beautiful spring day outside. And then it is gone once again, and you're ripped back into this reality. And then you hear in your mind,
I can give it back to you, Shepherd Grey. You are a broken man. You have nothing to live for. Abandoned by one god, rejected by another. Your family will rip away from you, but I can give them back. I can give you more.
How?
you guys just hear Shepherd say, "How?" into the empty air.
Shepherd?
Shepherd?
Can control the city. Use its technology to bring them back. All I ask is you to serve me.
I mean, I've been controlling the city too a little bit.
No, the city is merely serving your interest. I
Is that
can
right?
control it.
Oh.
Observe.
And you guys see a building down in the background.
Oh, well, what's that? What's happening?
The city trouble. Serve me and I can bring them home.
Guys, I think
You want.
he's having what happened to me earlier.
What happened?
I talked to the city. I think it's...
Was it the city or the corruption?
Well, I think it was the corruption. I mean, yeah.
You can go home. Back to the Republic.
Give him a drink.
Quick, his trousers.
I can give you your family. I can give you your life back. Turn from them. Join me. And they are good as alive for you.
I've already lost them.
Yes.
There's no coming back from them.
There is.
I saw their bodies. They were mangled. The life was gone. You think because you knock over a building that I'm going to betray the people who have been there for me?
You won't believe me, Shepherd, that I can bring them back. Make them real. It will not be some fake fantasy that you have to convince yourself. It will be real flesh and blood.
Be gone.
Bad choice.
And the gears in front of you start to shift, and these little irises open up, and your wife and child.
Shepherd, who are these people?
And you see the little girl break off the platform, and she runs over to you.
You're gonna have to God of War this. Just
And
nice circle.
you see your wife reach out her arms for you.
I think I start to walk towards the center.
Towards the center?
Just towards them a little.
Towards the wife and daughter?
Not like I'm running, but like, yeah.
Towards
Just,
them?
but not like, I'm not like fully like,
No, I
but
know.
I'm like, just like a step or two, so far.
Your
Shepherd?
daughter makes contact with your leg and she wraps her. You can feel the warm embrace of her arms around your leg. And she kind of just begins sobbing.
Shepherd.
And your wife begins to walk towards you as well. Her arms reaching out. Tears are now kind of streaming down her face.
You stand in front
And
of me.
you hear
get in
her,
front of the
you
wife.
hear her voice, something
Okay.
that you've longed for so long. Shepherd? Is that you? Are you really here? And her eyes fill with tears.
No. I died alongside you. And I just... Yeah! And just fucking chop them both at the same time.
Damn.
He did gotta war it.
Your sword passes through, and your wife gives you the look of utter betrayal and terror, and no noise escapes her throat as you cut through. Your daughter doesn't even look up, and their bodies collapse to the ground.
Are they robotic or like?
No blood leaves, and no blood leaks out,
Do orcs bleed? Lore reason?
but it all seems so real.
I had to.
It's okay,
You
Shepherd.
did.
These things are messing with us, and it's best not to let them. They will get in your mind. It's what a Freya does best. Right before they eat it, they'll cower you and break you to your weakest.
And at this point, the 3 illithids in front of the pool have kind of brought themselves forward in front of the pool. Everybody roll initiative.
Our group, now facing the Elder Brain, must fight not just for their lives, but for Kitus's as well. Will they be able to complete such a task? Find out in next week's episode of Tales of the Dice Roll.